Hello friends and welcome to the next video. In this video, we're going to be talking about style of no style. You might know who said that. It was the incredibly great Bruce Lee.
You see, actually, I do not teach, karate because I do not believe in styles anymore. I mean, I do not believe that there is such thing as like Chinese way of fighting or the Japanese way of fighting or whatever way of fighting, because unless human beings have 3 arms and 4 legs, we will have a different form of fighting. But basically, we have only 2 hands and 2 feet. So styles tends to not only separate man, because they have their own doctrines, and then the doctrine became the gospel truth, that you cannot change, But if you do not have styles, if you just say, well, here I am, as a human being, how can I express myself totally and completely? Now, that way, you won't create a style, because style is a crystallization, that way it's a process of continuing growth.
Now, how does that apply to drumming? We have all ran into the guys that have a business card, and on the business card it'll say their name, drummer, and all styles, right? Even I, unfortunately, when I was younger, I put that on my business card. Nobody has business cards now, maybe, but that's the way it is. I even see some people saying, yeah, we'll teach all styles, or I teach all styles. Really? To say that is, you have to have the kind of arrogance that only comes from ignorance. Because it's absolutely impossible to know all styles of drumming. I mean, are you serious? You know how many styles there are in Africa? The styles in Cuba, the styles in Brazil. There's so many styles in Brazil that even the Brazilian guys don't know all the styles. The North guys are different than the South, and the East and the West guys, they all play different styles. The last ethnomusicological study, if that's a word, showed that there was over 600 genres of music in Brazil alone. Okay, so now you're gonna tell me that you know all the styles from India? Give me a break. There's Northern India, the Southern India. There's so many things about drumming in India. It's impossible in 5 lifetimes to learn all that stuff. Okay? I mean, what kind of a person puts all styles on their business card? So this brings me to how you should approach your drumming plan, your outline, how to approach learning material that will keep you working, or at least keep you happy in drumming, which is way more important. Because if you are happy, if you are inspired, if you are burning to play and want to play, that is what's going to get you work more than, boasting about your knowledge or whatever other thing, people do. I see that the majority of guys that I admire, or that are working all the time, they are in joy of drumming. Yeah, not only enjoy drumming, but they are in joy of drumming. So that is what makes the difference. So now, all styles. Okay. What you have to do is be like Bruce Lee says. Have the style of no style. Now, how does that apply to drumming? It means don't pigeonhole yourself into one category. Don't be just a rock drummer, just a jazz drummer, just a Latin drummer, just a heavy metal, just a drummer from Africa, just, a Greek drummer. That is crazy, okay? If you want to work, I think my belief, my work ethic is, if there's a gig on the moon, I'm going to the moon to play the gig. You know what I mean? I'll play every gig that comes my way, as long as it's at a certain level now, of course. But the thing is, stylistically, I love styles. And I don't want to get pigeonholed into one thing, because that means I can only do that one thing. If I wouldn't have been able to play drumming, if I wouldn't have had any concept of drumming from India, I would have never been able to live there for 2 years and play with some of the greatest tabla masters on the planet right now. Okay? I have to always keep an open mind and not define myself by any style. That's what style of no style means. It just means drummer, okay? Or musician. Musician, period. That encompasses all music, all types of music. Of course, it's impossible to know everything. It's impossible. You need 10 lifetimes, okay? Do you know how to play music from Peru, from Argentina, let alone Brazil? Cuban music, do you know everything there is to know about Cuban music? I don't, and I specialize in Cuban. I'm still learning about Cuban music, and it's in joy that I learn more every single time. I learn a new phrase, or I learn a new this or that, or new independence. Brazil, the same thing. I just spent 6 months in Brazil. It's like my 5th time, I think, in going to Brazil, and always learning something new. I mean, that's how you have to do it. Now, as I mentioned before in another video, another thing that I did, I learned styles when I had to go and play them, which is, puts a lot of pressure on you as a musician. You have to learn styles quickly, okay? And how do you do that? How do you do that? It's not the best way, but there are so many styles going on in New York and LA that you just can't prepare for the time when something comes. You have to have all your technique together so that independence is not an issue, vocabulary, whatever else. All the technical stuff cannot be an issue. Now, vocabulary, let me back up a little bit about that, because each thing has its own vocabulary, okay? The vocabulary in Brazilian music is different than in funk. It's different than in jazz. It's different than in, let's say, sebene. There's a style in Africa that I love that I think it's pronounced sebene. I'm not totally 100% sure, but I love that stuff. There's tons of styles in the Caribbean, soca, reggae, all that stuff has its own vocabulary. Now, if you were to specialize in each one of those styles in particular, it would take forever. You can't afford to do that as a pro. What you do is this. You learn about how to learn. How do you learn? The most advanced methods of coping with all of this world music, being able to be a pro and hang in each style. You have to learn the common thread that is in each style. And what is that? It's rhythm, okay? The rhythmic vocabulary that is the common thread in all this music, jazz, Latin, Afro-Cuban, whatever, is rhythm. When you know rhythm, how it functions, how to turn it around, how to extract vocabulary of each style from your knowledge, man, 95% of the battle is done. The patterns my grandma can learn in a couple of weeks, okay? Any kid you might see on YouTube can learn a funk pop beat, they can play beats right away. That's why you have to have your independence together. And some things are harder than others, right? But the patterns are the least of your worries. What your worries are is the vocabulary, how to sound authentic in each style, okay? One of the problems that I had when I was coming up, I was learning these styles and I sounded like a jazz drummer playing in that style. Not gonna work, okay? Not when you go to do gigs that are with musicians that are specialized in that style. They're gonna look at you and say, man, it doesn't really fit, sorry, So you have to realize how to extract vocabulary from your knowledge, okay? Now, I'm not telling you what to do, but my teaching method is to learn the core language of drumming, which is to learn rhythm. What is rhythm? Cycles. The 3-bar cycle, a 4-bar cycle, 1, 2, 5, 7, 9. That kind of stuff is never ending, okay? Patterns, I can learn in a week, a couple of weeks, whatever, right? But the vocabulary takes years. Why? Because you have to, first of all, if you haven't done this study, you have to like extract piece by piece, you know, maybe sometimes lick by lick, and then how to apply it in the grooves, in the music. It's not going to work, especially in things like Afro-Cuban. You really have to know how to extract the vocabulary from your rhythmic knowledge and how it applies on the drum set, okay? There are many secrets to that. So, style of no style.
Man, listen, you see, really, to me, okay, to me, ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky, and be flooded with a cocky feeling and then feel like pretty cool and all that. Or I can make all kinds of phony things, you see what I mean? Blinded by it. Or I can show you some really fancy movement. But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, now that, my friend, is very hard to do. And you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving. And when you move, you are determined to move. Not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm gonna do it, man, and I'm gonna do it, you see? So I mean, so that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one with the, you think?
Yeah, this is very
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
You know what I mean? Don't be this all styles guy, because you just jive. You're just talking jive. You know what I mean? You don't know all styles. That's ridiculous, right? Nobody can know all styles. Bruce Lee, style of no style. Remember that. I was doing a big clinic in China, and one of the kids asked me through a translator, you know, what is your favorite style to play? And I said to him, like the great Bruce Lee says, I have the style of no style. And when I said that, surprisingly, all the kids like got up and started clapping. Well, first of all, Bruce Lee is a big hero, you know, in China. And it's something that they could relate to immediately. They knew what I was talking about. No style is going to define me. I can function in many, many styles. And if there's something I don't know, I have the tools necessary to adapt and survive right away. It's not going to take me years, right, to get into a style properly, because I have the core foundation, the thread that goes through all drumming styles, all musical styles. I know the thread that goes through, okay? So that's what you have to learn. Remember, style of no style. Don't be one of these guys. I'm all styles, yeah. That's like a slicked back, you know, suit wearing used car salesman that, that you see in movies. That's ridiculous, okay? So I hope this video helped you. If you want to check out my lesson site, only 150 bucks gets you into the year program, full support from me, email, video support, Skype, WhatsApp. You have lesson plans, short-term, long-term, and consultations anytime you need it, directly with me, okay? Only 150 bucks gets you in the year program, a massive online lesson libraries One of the most complete lesson libraries in the world and the most innovative curriculum there is around. Okay? Innovative curriculum, not the same old stuff. That's what you need. Okay, folks? Hope you're doing well out there. Thanks for watching. Style of No Style.